Okay, welcome everybody to the November 3rd Select Board meeting for the town of St. Albans. Will you join me in saying the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first up, we'll do the warrants as usual, and Brian, you start with his general fund warrant.
All right.
Hefty one this week.
Yeah, general fund warrant here dated November 3rd, 2025. A little different than normal because it's a little higher, but it's missing, we don't have any health insurance costs this time. So the total warrant is for $608,912.06. Again, dated November 3rd. Two items of note, and the two together make up 95% of the entire general fund warrant here. So 89% of it, or roughly 539,000, is for Pike Industries for the paving. And 6%, or roughly 37,500, is our quarterly St. Albans recreation reimbursement. Actually, Kevin, you're here. What roads did we get paved? I know we got like right at the top of French Hill was done.
I should have done, Perry, Kellogg,
Yep.
but we're actually getting $170,000 reimbursement, we traded for that road, and then Cedar Hill.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Very good. So it sounds like awesome. Okay. So 4 or 5 roads in. So with that said, I would make a motion that we pass the general fund warrant as presented.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Jeff, you have the
Yep.
payroll.
So I have two payroll warrants tonight. First one's dated October 24th, 2025, and that is for the amount of $23,751.86. And the second payroll warrant dated October 31st is in the amount of $47,705.68. And I would make a motion that we approve these as presented.
Yep. Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You, Amanda, you have one Stonehouse warrant.
Yes, I have the Stonehouse warrant from Sal DiFranesco. It is for band bookings for June, July, August in the amount of $500. So I make a motion that we approve this warrant as presented.
Second. Any further discussion?
So was the select board aware that we were paying someone to book these? I'm not sure that we were.
I was aware of this a while ago, and I mentioned it to the previous town manager, and he said we weren't using anybody from the outside. We're doing it all in-house. So I'm just kind of shocked that I saw that warrant sitting here tonight based on past conversations. I don't have a written email or anything with it, but that's all I know. I haven't gone through my emails to see if I did actually write the past town manager an email on it, but I thought we were doing that all in-house.
Like in-house meaning?
Like typically, I thought, right, John, typically.
So that conversation came up, to have with the old town manager to have him help. Welcome, and then I thought we turned it down. No.
When you say, John, that he would help, you mean Sean or this company? Okay. Thank you.
Sal also like part of another band, so it's like also a band that we used to hire. So I don't know what agreements, but
Right.
yeah, decided.
Well, we used to do it in-house, right? We
Yeah,
used to contact you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'd say obviously these are services rendered already, so we should probably pass that, but then take a look at that going forward.
Yeah, it looks like it's $150 per month, like June, was 150, July was 150, August was 150, and then there's a miscellaneous one for $50. So that comes to the total of 500.
It's not, I guess it's not it's not Sal's fault that he took the work. I'm just wondering why we gave it to him.
And I'll work. I'll work with Corey on-
I think it's a question for our Director of Community Development.
Right, but Corey can figure that out. That's not-
Yes, yep.
Okay, so having said that, you made a motion?
Yeah, we got a
A
second.
second, okay, call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's it for the warrants. In your packet, you have the minutes from the October 20th meeting. And we make a motion to approve unless there's some changes or corrections.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody here to make a public comment? Okay, moving on. Errors and omissions. Come up, John. Come on up, John.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a few errors and omissions tonight. The first one is Shanty Point Properties. They're in the process of selling off parcels to individual camp owners. They're down to 4 parcels that they have left. 3 were sold last year before April 1st, and for some reason they didn't get taken off of the master
Grand list.
site.
Yep.
For Shanty Point. So I'm just asking for those to be removed from the 25 as built grand list.
Mhm.
Second one is a late filing for veterans exemptions, 100% disabled veteran, moved in July, I believe. Just asking to be able to add that veterans exemption to his parcel. Next one's Green Mountain Power, it's personal property. Incorrect value was entered. Looking to go from 263.5 to 355,071. Next one is a new personal property filing that was sent to the city in error. So just look to create a new parcel.
Can I ask you, John, how does that happen? How does the filing go to the city and it takes this long to?
They just send their filing to the city instead of us, thinking that their property's in the city. A lot of these places are, outside of Vermont, they're all over the country.
Okay.
So they don't really know the difference. And even though we send them a letter every January, I believe it goes out.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just do their own thing.
Does that
It
happen?
happens
Like,
quite a bit, actually,
yeah.
Okay.
and vice versa.
Sure with, say,
Vice versa.
sharing a name too, probably.
So I've sent several to the city as well. And the last one's Hannaford, their value was entered incorrectly. Small change there. And that is it. So it's basically an increase in revenue of $118 for the town.
Good work.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for John about these? We kind of went through them as we go in. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve those 5 changes.
Second.
So moved and then second.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you said it.
Brian made the motion, Amanda made the second. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Director of Public Works, Drew, come on up.
We also paved Hill Farm as well.
Hill Farm, you said? Yeah. Yeah, I drove up French Hill a couple days ago and it was a nice surprise up there, so.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
So, first up, winter equipment.
Winter equipment. So we have a F600 in our shop right now that has been sitting for 2 years waiting to be built out. Our contractor that usually prepares the build out, the winter equipment build out, has just been, I think it's staffing or whatever reason, we've had equipment sitting idle for too long. And Tori and John did some nice work looking into what it would take for us to take on some of that responsibility. And, essentially a lot of that equipment is bolt on. There's some kind of smaller details that if need be, we could sub out, and we've identified who could potentially do that for us. I think overall, we could save some labor costs rather than paying our contractor Viking to do the work. We could do it ourselves. Viking is offered to provide technical assistance as well as specs and ordering all the equipment that we would need. The first truck that we're looking to do is the smaller of the two, and I think it's a good, it's also a good process for our guys to be working on, to understand the equipment a little bit better and to grow our capacity and capabilities as well. So we're kind of just wanting to keep you in the loop that this was a direction we were contemplating going and make sure you're on board. You guys have anything to add to that?
No, that sums it up.
Yeah. There's,
One of them doing maybe 3.
yeah,
Or it's still, and then the one game town, game state. So,
we looked at there's someplace in upstate New York, quite a ways away. And so we explored some other options too. And I know several other municipalities are also considering the same thing we are right now.
That's a question, Jonathan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just noticing in your note, Kevin, right? So the work will be filler work. Cause I know that's one thing we know DPW is busy almost all the time. So this is all stuff that to nothing else would have to be, deprioritized. We'd be able to get it done.
Yep, correct. That's what the team acknowledges, and especially like shoulder seasons in between, before plowing really kicks in. Rainy day like today, when you're doing shop work, regardless, I think would be a great time to tackle it. So yeah, I don't think it will cut into any of our existing priorities.
Okay, I think that was mentioned in there too.
But we want to sell good brakes.
I did the air brake certification. I've done a course on the power strokes, which is what we run in our the F600 and all of our 550s. Get a pretty good understanding of it.
Yeah, and I know these guys know probably everything that you're writing on here. Jack would too. I won't speak for Amanda, but what exactly is it doing if we're getting ready for winter maintenance equipment? I mean, I'm thinking plows, but is that it, or are there other things that we're mentioning? And you don't have to go into great detail because I won't understand half of the technical stuff anyway, but.
So I do a winter inspection every year
Mhm.
where basically I start at the front bumper and I go all the way to the back bumper, and I go through every little bit of the vehicle, including, the plow equipment, the dump body, the chain or the sanding chains. I knock out the service at that point as well.
Yeah.
And then, go if it needs tires, I update the tires. If it needs parts, I update the parts, and just basically your typical vehicle inspection, I go through a little bit more in depth.
We do that
Gotcha.
every 6 months.
Yes.
Okay. So we're doing that every 6 months, but some of the other parts we haven't done in a few years.
Well, it's
Right.
fitting, so what you're doing, so you have a wing, a plow. So basically it's 2 plow frames.
Yeah.
And then you have a box, and the hardest part of it is setting a box on top of the truck. But for the smaller ones, you do a report on the hard loader. Absolutely.
The box is for solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, those are the 3 major components.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's a piece of equipment, what is something, a gantry, is I have that.
A gantry is, yeah, it's, an I-beam with a hoist in it, so you can safely lower and
Gotcha, yeah,
heavy equipment. So it's a good tool to have.
yeah, okay.
So is it different than like a hydraulic lift?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's basically like an I-beam with a trolley system, so like you can hitch onto your box, you lift it up, you back the truck under it, with the frames under it, and safely lower it down. It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whereas
it's
like the
the
lift
fling.
or
They're
station.
slinging it instead of jacking it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Makes things a little safer.
Yeah.
The smaller ones, I don't really see being a problem, but if we could ever get into the tandems, which.
Get into the larger trucks like the Freightliner M2s, the tandems. You're gonna want something a little bit more rugged.
Do you have to have any like training to use a gantry or?
We probably would anyway, but
I have a past. I worked in sheet metal industry long before I came over here. We used them daily in there.
really only one. Probably until we got certified, and he's certified in welding, but like there's one spot in the whole truck that needs to be welded. So it's not a lot. We would just sub that out. Probably buy it.
Are the trucks already equipped with wet systems? For the plow, the
No.
hydraulic?
No,
We'd be plumbing the hydraulic system, we'd be plumbing the electrical system, we'd be putting on the plow frames, the belt body, your hydraulic tanks. You'd be plumbing everything, swear down.
which we spec them all out when we buy them. We spec them all out. That's kind of what I brought up, this in case anybody wants to see it, but like we go right through. So if you have to have like your depth tank moved because of the type of box we're putting on, we already know all that. We've worked with the truck manufacturer, whoever we're buying the truck from, and then Viking, who we buy the plowing equipment from. We know it's gonna fit.
So they've already done that?
Yeah, the
Oh,
truck
okay.
comes
Right.
and everything's
All right.
moved to fit here. So it really is just plug and play, bolt on.
Yeah, okay. So some of this is seasonal stuff, but it sounds like the plumbing part, that's just a one-time thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay. Okay.
How many hours do the fit up?
So what they told me before Viking, for a small one, they try to turn them out, say he said 2 weeks. That's them though, and they've got trucks all over the place, but even if it took us a year, it's still kind of.
I'm just curious, how many man hours are we gonna have? Like. The first few will be a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's like anything, once you start doing something that's repetitive, you gain some efficiencies along the way.
Yeah.
So. You tell me it's 150, 2,000, like, I don't know. Yeah.
I know we've talked about putting a separate line so we can track everything. And maybe that's something we can track as well as hours put towards that, so we could, on the first one.
At least we know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Be a good idea. Yep.
And the numbers should improve unless the equipment changes.
Yeah.
But typically it does, it's a learning curve, it's like, where I
yes.
come from, the first thing you do that's new, you're like,
Yeah,
and then once you do a couple, you're like, oh, yeah. Cool.
and Viking was really good about, said that because we had like a purchase agreement for they said they'd let us out of it if we wanted, and he wouldn't charge us anything he lives right here in town. He wouldn't charge us anything. He said if you got like for his advice or technical support, but if he started getting a lot more towns doing it, then maybe he would. But
Nothing
right now, no.
I don't expect anybody to work for free that works for the town.
Right.
Absolutely. Not unless they're very. So when you say if you've got the gantry and you pull whatever you're pulling off the truck, now what do you do with it? Does the gantry move or is it stationary I-beam?
So we're hoping to make it a mobile station, so that way, like, when we're bringing the newer belt body in, we can set it in the yard, move the gantry out, pick it up, and bring it back in the garage and get the truck and get everything fast right.
What do you use the gantry with?
We're hoping to put it on casters,
They're
on heavy duty
And you
casters.
can push that with,
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
it just seems, well, I don't know, it just seems like a lot of work to move something. You can't buy like a jib for the loader, the big loader? Like everything's got lifting hooks, right, on the top of it,
Yeah.
Yes.
like you got big loader should be able. Or is it, I don't know, you'd have to look at the jib, whatever the,
It
Weight
would,
requirements
the
on
only
it.
downfall that I worry about with the loader is hydraulic drift. So as like you're working underneath it or if you're trying to set it, you can't necessarily finesse with the loader. You know, like if you gotta move it over, say, half inch. And it's kind of, you can't necessarily move with the loader. It's my biggest worry about it.
Smaller trucks,
Oh, absolutely.
would be the best one to get, to try it on.
Right.
You get a good idea then. They're all stainless, the boxes we buy are stainless, they're a little bit lighter too.
Any more questions? No motion to be made. I'm gonna digest this myself personally for a few hot minutes. I'd like to know how many hours it's gonna take, so if you could think about that. Whether it's 50, 100, 2,000, whatever it is, you know, I think it'd just be nice to know.
Yeah.
Cause I don't want, well, what I don't want is, well, it actually takes us, you know, 500 hours and then we need to hire another stat, like a half stat, like I can just, that's what I want to avoid.
Yeah.
And if you really need staff to do something, I'm like, I'm all for it, but as of currently, I think staffing is fine, so I don't want to add to that necessarily unless it's needed. I just want to know. like,
Yeah.
Upfront.
Yeah.
You know, just tell me what it is.
Differentiate between stuff that's one time versus.
Right, and like I say, the first 1 or 2 times, it might be a lot on the heavier end, but you know what I mean, you might drop off. 20, 30
You guys,
hours,
I know, we talked about some numbers already.
No, so.
And you can give a range, I ain't gonna.
Yeah,
right
So
to it.
I have the cost. For that, the labor or not, what it costs, what the biking charges us for labor. So the smaller trucks is 12 to 50. Bigger trucks, they charge usually 15.
Does Corey have that info?
I think so. I have it probably right here, actually.
Send it to him so he can.
Yeah, I thought I included their cost in the memo, but I didn't include a estimate of what we thought our hours.
To me, I'm not really, the only thing is I just don't want somebody to come to us next year and say, oh, we need more staff now. because we
Yeah.
do it Like, I've seen that before. Like,
Yeah,
I just want to avoid that. That's
yeah,
all. Unless you really need the help, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that everything else is getting done, and I'm not saying it's not, I just,
Well, we know that it is. I mean, the town, the DPW has been doing a great job and we just don't want to. I think the concern is getting side railed on a side project that you could hire out that really isn't up to this point been their purview to change truck bodies out.
Yeah.
Build trucks.
Yeah.
So we don't, you know, the concern is if that comes at the cost of some other area of your expertise, then that's a concern.
Yeah.
well, because we have been in those situations years ago, like, we were doing things that we probably should have had somebody else do and stayed on our boards. And I'm not saying nobody's not capable of doing this stuff, because it sounds like it's pretty much like putting big Legos together
Exactly.
for the most part.
It's just like a
Yeah.
model car.
Well, that-
Right, I'm sure it takes a little bit of skill, like it's not anybody can do it, but.
For the most part, Tori really spends most of the time in the shop. And believe it or not, in the winter time, I mean, this is something in between plow routes and, just, I would have never suggested it if there was somebody with a passion for it, would love to do it, so.
Yeah, and if the alternative is we send it to Viking and they get our truck back in 6 months, we're like, we're probably not having this conversation.
Right. I
But-
still, when
Uh,
I hear that stuff, like it's 2 to 3 years or what, I just can't, like,
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody hasn't started a business doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
because it screams like dollar sign all over it.
yeah,
I don't
He
know.
was offering all kinds of people to help start it off in our
Yeah.
smaller trucks.
Wow.
It's just.
They're the
said that
only
issue,
people,
staffing.
oh, it's staffing, that's what.
Signal people.
So there used to be 2 other companies that set them up in the state, and around 2020, they closed up shop, and Viking is now the only one. in the state.
Oh, so there was a few more.
There was,
Prior to
there was
COVID.
Tenco and HB Fairfield.
Oh, they're gone?
They are.
Oh,
Yeah. Somebody should listen.
Because they had health problems too, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's always hard to find like an all-around person. So what they would do is he was explaining it to me, they would try to hire somebody that's just good at wiring. somebody who's good at hydraulics, somebody who's good at fabricating. So it's hard to keep always going.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna personally chew on this for and then once you can work with Corey to get those numbers.
Sure.
Just have them sent to us.
Yep.
We'll talk about it at the next meeting if you want. I don't know if you necessarily need to be here, but we'll talk.
Right.
Yep.
Or maybe you should if we get questions.
Yep.
We'll coordinate that through Corey.
Yep.
We'll let you know. Yeah, thanks. East Basin Stormwater Project Grant Application.
Yeah, East Basin. So you probably recall, we asked a similar request for West Basin last meeting. And so this is up on the Sash in 104. Is everybody familiar with where? So West
This is
Basin.
closer to Grace Brook, right?
Yeah, so East Basin is right at the intersection. So
Okay, sorry, I was thinking of what west though is.
Yeah, so
Right
West
there.
Basin,
Just
last select board meeting, we asked for approval for a $200,000, $50,000 to $200,000 grant for the West Basin. West Basin's in our eyes, the higher priority because it's more likely to immediately alleviate some of the downstream stormwater issues. East Basin, this is the one closer to the intersection, and so Corey and I have already started a conversation about. I've talked to the project manager for the roundabout project. We're talking to Megan about the health path, then there's our East Basin stormwater project. So that we're really looking at them as two different projects because the West Basin, we want to get done as soon as possible. And all the complexities with the stuff at the intersection are going to slow the East Basin down, and we don't want that to slow the West Basin down. So all that being said, we still want to go after funding for the East Basin, and this grant was coming up and it's due November 7th, and we don't want to miss that window regardless. So we want to get a submission in and at least use that to push that East Basin project as long as keep moving some momentum on that one as well. And Corey and I are already starting some broader right-of-way questions, and which will probably be looping in a bigger group fairly soon on that as well.
Yes, Kevin, so if we got this right, I'm just seeing it's for the 26-27 season, and I know if the state's doing that roundabout up there, it's probably not for like 3 to 5 years, right?
2030 is there.
So if that were the case, right, if it was 2030, will we still be able to move forward and do it at that time, or it would, is there any fear of this expiring? I guess is what I'm saying, or what I'm asking.
No, I think if even if there's going to be a whole bunch of conversations that happen after the fact, but even if we use this TA grant to start our engineering and design, and then if we get to a point where VTrans says, you know what, this stormwater facility is going to benefit us, our TS4 and our roundabout, and there's efficiencies in constructing it once, so that would be a great conversation to have. But I think for us, for now, I think this grant helps us maintain momentum regardless of what VTrans does. But regardless of what VTrans does, we have to stay in very close coordination with their project manager, who I've already spoken with, on the roundabout to make sure all of these things are going to work together efficiently, correctly.
Gotcha. So in effect, if we got this, and of course the roundabout's not designed, right? But it would be, they would know enough to, you know what I mean? Where you could avoid, having to redo anything, obviously.
Exactly. And so I already had a meeting with Mike LaCroix, he's the project manager for the roundabout, and he sent us their plans, and he's going to actually be approaching town pretty soon about providing another public update meeting. I sent him our plans. He sent us ours. He's having his consultant take a look at our plans to kind of see if there's any conflicts, but that's just the early stages of that conversation. We're going to have to keep in close touch. And I've done that in the past between VTrans and local projects as well. So it's just good communication. but there is a lot on that parcel. Like, cause right now, even that East Basin, even the West Basin, we're, we're thinking about the roundabout, we're thinking about the health path, we're thinking about, I mean, even the Sash has a, you know, a sidewalk in the bike ped plan that, not a high priority, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be considering it in our project as well, so. It's just a busy corner.
Very potentially, yeah.
And then, so it said the project would cost 970,000 before the grant, and then the grant is for 600,000.
The current estimate is 970, so if we got the 600, that would go a long ways for us.
And then like when it says local match required, does that mean that we also have to pay 600,000?
So we would, if we got a $600,000 grant, we would have to spend at least 170, which is 20% of that 600. So the total project commitment is then $770,000, 600 of which is the TA grant. So
You just adjust the amount of the grant based on the project total?
the 600 is the maximum. We can't
Okay.
ask for more. That's
Okay.
that's capped by V-Trans and legislative.
Okay.
So,
So you're saying if the max is 600, we would have to do 20% of that minimum. And if it was more than that, up to 970, we pay the difference.
we would pay the
Right.
difference unless those conversations with V-Trans continue and we find some collaboration in the cost share, but that's early to say.
Maybe cut it in two and we have east and northeast,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Hey, I'm
And
just
that's
600 for each.
one of the reasons we split the west and the east
Yeah.
was, let's call them two different projects and go after two different funding sources. If we lump them all together, then it's one project, one funding
Well,
source.
we had some meetings with a bunch of people a while ago, and what became apparent is that kind of that this all does need to be done together to be
Mhm.
effective.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
piecemealing it together, which is the standard way, was gonna keep people frustrated downstream for a long time.
Yeah,
Because you can't really alleviate the water until the whole thing is completed.
yeah. Yeah,
So, I mean, I guess that's what I took away from it, is that it does need to be a coordinated effort. And the question was, how in the world do you do that with so many players over time? And
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
that's where we're at too. And even the West Basin, we have $10,000 left in a $60,000 grant that we did to do our feasibility analysis. And we're trying to use that money to do a downstream analysis of the West Basin. So you can build a stormwater practice, but then we're trying to use that as a way to work with V-Trans to survey all culverts and whatever downstream of that West Basin so that we know where our water's going. And it's a lot of coordination, especially with all the state roads in that area.
Yeah, my understanding from those meetings that Jeff's referring to, obviously doing it all, looking at it universally is that way to do it, but to get grant funding, you gotta cut it up, all right?
Yeah.
But and my understanding, right, is especially working that West Basin, I mean, that's gonna have a major impact on Tanglewood, correct? I mean, isn't that in some of that water gets diverted over toward into the Tanglewood system, which
Yeah, I think
this could help there.
the West Basin and then some of that downstream analysis that we do of like, that first slug of water will get held at West Basin and then slowly released, just like
Yeah.
it's doing in Tanglewood right now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
Awesome, good. So the whole thing will be done next year?
it's ambitious. But
I meant all 18 projects or how many we have?
even the West Basin,
10 years ahead of schedule?
it's ambitious, but we're setting that tone with our team that this is important, that we've communicated to the residents of Tanglewood that this is a priority project. And so there's a lot of things that have to happen and fall into place, but that's the goal. So.
Yep. We're definitely making progress. I know when we all kind of got on this board, the talk was we've been talking about Tanglewood for 20 years, and talking about Tanglewood for 20 years. And,
Yeah.
a couple of years later, we're actually on the other side of it, working on other projects now. So it's
Yeah.
great to actually see some progress.
Yeah, I was in Tanglewood on Friday and it was heavy rain, but it was doing what it
Holding.
was supposed to be doing.
The black fencing looks nice.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Lot
It's
better.
a lot nice,
Lot
lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have a couple of places we know, this is Tanglewood related, that a little bit of settlement, post-construction settlement we're aware of, that we're gonna wait for things to stabilize, grass to kind of, it's just, if we go try and solve minor stuff right now, it'll just be a muddy mess. So we're gonna let everything stabilize. And then, and we're also working with the HOA to, the match line between their work with cross consulting and where we stopped with our stormwater projects is we stopped in a logical, appropriate spot. And I think now they have to kind of come and meet our work. So.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, having said that, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the East Basin Stormwater Project grant?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Jonathan, there is something in the yellow folder for you to sign
Yep.
for that grant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, town manager's report. I'm just gonna do that for him. Corey's got another meeting right now going on. So draft one will be presented at the work session scheduled for Wednesday, November 5th at 1:30. Each department head will have 30 minutes to go over their budget with the board. Anybody have any comments or questions on that?
1:30 right here, I assume.
Yeah, 1:30 till probably 4-ish. 4:30 probably.
Probably eat lunch first.
Yeah, more than likely.
They're not gonna feed you.
Candy.
And then just administrative Act 250, Town Fair Tire Centers of Vermont. Informational and no action needed by the town manager. Other business, anybody have any other business?
I guess I have a comment. I will say that police presence since our last meeting is noticeably higher. There's no doubt about it. Living down here, you see cruisers much more than we were previous to that meeting.
And I just like to add for anybody that watches this taped or anything, anytime you have a issue or concern about the streets, please reach out to the town manager's office. And he will send those request concerns onward to the St. Albans Police Department.
Kevin, did you find out how much those speed limit signs are that are solar powered and, okay,
Yeah.
just something to know how much they are at least.
I got a number.
Okay, thank you for looking
Milton,
into that.
I did notice because I drove by it about like 30 times and I drove by it Sunday and I finally like, oh, there's one right in Milton, right in this, as you head towards like Oliver Seed. It's a 25 zone there, but anyways, it's just, it seems like it's pretty small and simple, but I don't know, logistics, how it works and whatever, but anyways. Okay, anybody have any other business other than what we discussed? Okay, perfect. Moving forward, the next select board meeting, regular meeting will be November 17th and Monday, December 1st. Both starting at 6:30, and then the budget work session that we previously said earlier will be this Wednesday at 1:30 to review draft one for fiscal year 27.
If I could just add, Jonathan, too, just joint police board, 4 o'clock this Thursday at the 6th, at the police department as well.
Are you going to that?
I will be.
Who's our other attendee to that?
Myself, Jack, and Steve Neal are 3.
Okay, so Jack's added to it. I'm sure Steve will go.
Corey's going too, I think.
Okay.
And actually, we should talk, there probably won't be that much to vote on, but because we have 3 votes and the city has 3 votes, I don't know if we can temporarily appoint Corey. to take Jack's spot if anything comes up for voting. I don't know if there's you know what I mean?
You'd have to do that at that meeting. It's nothing that we can do.
Well, we as the select board can appoint our 3 members, though. We could go and vote. Anyone could go, but myself, right now, Jack and Steve Deal are the only vote for us on our behalf. Corey can be there as the manager.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think, well, obviously we can't make a motion and have it stick to the wall right now if it's not a,
That's true.
so. Having said that, I think when Corey goes, I would just, I would call it. I would just tell the chair, whoever's running the meeting, make a point Corey to be our third vote.
Well, I think we appoint them. Select board.
Have the whole board, have their board.
Well, I'm just saying, it's our select board that votes for our 3. City council votes for their 3. You know what I mean? Like the folks there. Or we can look and see, I don't know, I can't remember in the document if there's an alternate. You know, like if our manager.
Can we add it to the agenda for the special meeting on Wednesday?
Might be too late.
No, about 24 hours. Right, Jen, is it 24 hours technically?
I already warned it today, but you can make an amendment when you start the meeting on Wednesday.
Okay, Jen, can you just send me an email on that? For
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Sure.
I think maybe we can appoint
There you go. good
Corey to
call.
be the alternate.
Yeah, right,
Right. On Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just,
meeting Thursday.
and just make sure they're aware of it. I just don't want to blindside, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean, first meeting, there probably won't be much voting of significance, but just in case. Just in case, so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, moving on to executive session. Someone make a motion to go into executive session, discuss a contractual and personnel matter where premature general public knowledge of the subject matter would place the town or persons involved at a substantial disadvantage. Further move to enter into executive session to discuss a personnel matter under the provisions of Title 1, Section 313A1 of the Vermont statutes and to invite the interim town manager.
So moved.
You, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night. Thank you.
Drive safe.